All right, and we are live. Hey, everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, just sitting here drinking my morning coffee, looking sexy as hell as usual. And yeah, let's see if we can get a good chat. I think I'm going to run this one a little long this morning. I may go try to do a run. Had a bit of a cold yesterday. I'm also thinking, I can make my workouts a little longer, do a little more running if I need to. And I don't feel like doing the bike cardio sitting down. I said, brothers, I don't have to do that to do live streams. In fact, they go better if I'm not on the bike, right? I can sit down, chat with my people, make endless content if I need to. I can do as many live streams as I want, and I can just do them. My time, I'll have to set up the bike. Not a big deal. Plus, it's not as urgent that I eat. Kind of some stuff I might do. Just think I might do a little different, I can cut my feed window smaller. I'm not worried about getting that cardio and then saying, oh man, I did that extra cardio, getting my food in soon. Not a big deal. But I might go take a run this morning. I might go do a run. So I might try to run all my non-lifting days and just skip the list on the bike. Because if we're running 3 or 4 days a week, we're lifting really hard 3 days a week like I do, with the full body training. Probably enough. And I can mess with a little band work, mobility stuff between. Probably good, I don't have to do the bike cardio. Not now that I'm running. It's just the running is so much superior. They walk to play. I can't figure out what your name actually says, by the way. But hello, good morning. Good morning to you too, man. Already getting some views, some likes, some comments. I think we're off to a good productive start here, guys. We'll see if the Facebook kicks off too. See what all of it does. All right. I don't know. Hold on, posting something for a minute while we wait on a few more comments to roll in here. It says walk to Poland is twist on a song. It's probably changed it to my Facebook name. Probably, yeah. Yeah, it might work better. Right? Yeah, because no one will really get that, So then it make more sense. It's better for communication than if you're dropping to people's live streams and stuff. Because no one even knows how to then say the name. They'll just call you Wilk, maybe. Man, it's always so funny. It just throws me off how much different I look in the mornings versus afternoon in these. But it's also kind of blurry. Right? It's fuzzy. The sun's not up. And I don't like putting the overhead light on in here if I can avoid it. I'm not painting or something. Right? How'd you sleep? I slept really good, man. If I didn't, I would be back in bed. Right? It's not a training day. I don't have to be up. But I've already made video and stuff. I'm making some neutral grip handles with PVC and rope because I'm getting overuse from chins. You just go to pull-ups. You can just switch to normal pull-ups instead of chins too. Right? Just something. Just change the grip up. Just something to think about. Rotate from pull-ups to chin-ups works wonders for that, by the way. Works absolute wonders. Just throwing it out there. Just an idea. I'm not saying you got to do it. I might cover. Someone sent me a link of Ken Obadi actually saying why he quit drinking. And normally I don't care about the fitness world. I don't normally care about the fitness world at this point, but the fact that it's promoting some sobriety and stopping drinking might be relevant because that's not even drama or Ken what they're doing. That's just someone else who I've interacted with in the past being sober. And I think that's important. Do you train neutral grip? Yeah, sometimes. I did them on Friday, actually. I did my pull-ups on the neutral grip on Friday. I've trained all three: pull-ups, chin-ups, neutral grip, wide grip, close grip. You know, I tend to change my pull-up grip more than anything else that I do. I do tend to change it a lot. Maybe that's not ideal from a overload perspective, but I do tend to change it a lot. You know, of course, I could just stop. I could just jump in and just focus on my normal pull-ups. You know, and just worry about building my back. Wider grip pull-ups though really seem to hit my lats harder than anything. You know, even though people hate on the way I do them, they're like, "It's a half rep," and like as high as I can go, like with that grip. It just hammers the hell out of my lats. You know, right? It hits my lats harder than anything I think I've ever done. I feel like it's responsible for the width because I had a big back before. But when I started really doing those, my back kind of took on a different dimension, and it's not because of drugs. You know, it's not like I was blasting gear to do that. That's the point. So my back got really, really wide. So I feel like all the deadlifting and rowing built the base, but those wide grip pull-ups really kind of took me to the next level. I feel it in my upper back if I go wide, like I feel heavy chin dependence at the line. It's really interesting. So for me, those really the wide grip pull-ups, when I first started doing them, it took me weeks to adapt because my lats would cramp. Until I got used to those, I would literally get lat cramps at the end of every set. Like they would lock up on me to where I almost couldn't move. So, you know, it's interesting. So I'm talking about really wide grip. I hit like for just appreciate it, Carol. Hey, Carol, I'm also on the Facebook if you'll drop in there. So it's interesting how different people claim to feel things. So for me, a closer grip pull up is I feel only my arms. The wide grip, when I do them really wide, I like I said, I feel like they blew my lats up to where they are now. You know, but I used to get lat cramps. So yeah, but a close grip pull up feels like a curl. Like it feels like a curl to me. I don't feel much difference between that and a barbell curl. It feels like all arms. Just for me personally, where I personally feel it. But we know that all those muscles are being worked. So it's funny how, you know, we'll talk about where we feel things, but, you know, the reality is, you know, is different. Like where we feel stuff may not matter. But if we talk about where we feel it, that's what I do. Walk says, I feel close grip pull-ups in my arms and rear delts too. I generally like closer grip because I want more range of motion in arms. Yeah, perfectly fair. Right? I think that's fair. You know? So that was the thing that's interesting to me. You know, I see a lot of calisthenics guys like in reels and stuff on other social media who will be promoting this way super long range of motion on them though, and they don't have a back. Like that's what really shocks me. Right? That's what really shocks me is how many of because the wide grip, the range of motion I do built my lats just blew up. But then I'll see a lot of these calisthenic dudes promoting getting their all the way up over the bar on pull-ups, and they're like, I could do all these pull-ups, and they go way up over the bar even on a pull-up, and it's like I can't do that with a broomstick, let alone a pull-up. You know, and they'll crank out like 15 of them with their body weight or 20, and they don't have a back. It just shocks me. So it's really fascinating to me. Right? But you can't train for performance on resistance and stay small. Right? Yeah. Michael says, I'm also on Facebook here, guys. Michael says, hearing a ton of people dislike overhead press for building big shoulders now. Pretty resounding, too. Many opting for laterals, high rep 4 times a week, upright rows. Look, I can understand where they're coming from, but honestly, think about shoulders for a minute and just what we see in the real world, right? It's paying me okay, Rufus. It's not paying me a lot. Really, though, all the lives are good for my outreach. Been a slow trickle in of clients because I've been losing clients and then picking up new clients. So that's been the fascinating thing. All this has been getting me clients to replace my people who are dropping. I get a lot of people who can't afford it. I've been losing all my clients overseas and replacing them with Americans. That's kind of what's happening. So as the economy is being affected around the world in general, people outside of the U.S. can't afford me. I have 3 clients outside the U.S. and they all pay packages, so. All right. Hey, coach, I have knee pain even if I do wide stance, straight shank squats. What do you advise me to do to have strong knees? I don't. I need to see what you're doing. So when we talk about something like having knee pain from squats, I can't help you in a live stream. Make sense? I need a whole that, and I'm not trying to sell consultations here. I'm just telling you, there is no way that we could exchange enough information in text and a live stream with 10 conversations going to help you at all. We just can't. Right. So we're kind of at consultation level, where I need you to record a bunch of your squatting, get it ready. We get in a consultation. We look at your squatting, look at your training history, your form. We need to see what all is going on, and then sit down and give practical advice. You're at a minimum of an hour consultation, if not coaching for that, because there's simply no way that in a live stream we can do that. And a couple of my Facebook people are in here right now. If you guys will hop to Facebook and drop me a comment, I'd appreciate it. Calisthenics guys don't have back thickness. Yeah, and I guess no deadlifts probably is a factor. Maybe it's your depth on squat if I had knee pain from low. Well, squatting too high causes knee pain. Half repping any of your squat pattern movements, even leg presses and stuff, contributes to knee pain in my experience. If you're compromising range of motion. I'm convinced Brock Lesnar is back on the juice. No way 48-year-old can get that. Well, I think you're misunderstanding muscle memory too. I don't know. I don't see what he looks like. But dude's a genetic freak. But also keep in mind, if someone did steroids for a long time and got really big, and they just do TRT and be at a normal, to keep them at a normal level, they're going to be bigger than a natural potentially still. Okay, so you have to understand that, right? Because at least they have optimized hormone levels now, and then they have all the old muscle fiber nuclei from the steroid size. I mean, they're not going to be natural size again. I don't know. Hey, Alan, those are 2 completely different, unrelated things. So what do you think of half rep pull-ups like kipping pull-ups? Those are completely unrelated things. Half rep pull-ups and kipping pull-ups are not even remotely close. Makes sense? Right? I mean, people accuse me of doing half rep pull-ups when I go wide, but they're 100% of my range of motion. That's literally as far as my joints go. Like, I'm at the limit of my range of motion. So people call those half reps. You're talking about skipping the bottom, but a kipping is not a pull-up in any. It's not a pull-up at all. So I wouldn't even count it as a half rep. A kipping is nothing like a pull-up, right? I don't even know what we would count it at. Like a kipping is a kipping. It's a kip up is not a pull-up at all. So I don't even think it works the same muscles, to be honest. Like I've tried to even figure out what it's supposed to do. I've never been able to figure out what they're actually trying to accomplish with the kipping. I think it's more of an ab exercise or a core exercise than a back exercise. Right? Have a look at Lester's daughter. I mean, yeah, we've seen her daughter all in the news, all on social media. All right. Yeah, so I guess the question is, what are you trying to do? Because I need you to, because you can ask me what I think and then throw two completely different exercises. I'm assuming you have a reason for the question. So let's just kind of cover that when someone says, hey, Jason, what do you think about? I would rather you ask the question than ask me what I think. Because if you ask me what I think, we're going to quickly go into some strange thing involving quantum mechanics or something around the topic. Because you're asking me what I think. You're not asking me to answer your question. Thoughts on peptides being pushed onto younger lifters. So again, I don't think about that at all. So do you see the problem with thoughts, the question thoughts? I don't think about that at all. Next question. So that's what I mean, guys. You guys need to literally ask your question. You need to write, hey, I saw Joe Peptide King with 2 million followers specifically telling 18-year-olds that they should use BPC. And, do you see what I mean? I need to know where you're going. Like I've never thought about this topic in my life, and I still haven't thought about it because I don't know what you're talking about. All right, next. So, not being mean, Ronnie, just telling you I don't have a frame of reference. And why are we talking about fitness communities? I don't follow the fitness world anymore. I don't know what the fuck they do. I have no idea. So is Greg Doucette trying to sell peptides to teenagers? Like, is he selling, this is my teen Pepto Boost? Like, what are we talking about? Okay. I also appreciate the comments on Facebook. Just dropping a Facebook comment here, coaches gravitate towards the two, just more active comment-wise over there. I can see the questions you're responding to. Yeah, fair enough. Over time, Michael, the Facebook will continue to pick up, though. So, especially when it lets me group. My group posts get blocked for days at a time because I post so many between all my stuff. And it tends to pick my stuff up. For those with shoulder pain and limited, what are you talking? Alan, I don't understand. Okay. Alan, just delete everything and restart the entire conversation. We're going to rewind. And I need you to be specific with what you're talking about, Alan. Right? Because you asked about two completely unrelated exercises. So let's start this conversation over. Just delete everything and let's restart with a real question. All right? I need you to either ask me about kippings or what you're specifically, and let's go from there. It'll help me to answer the question you're looking for an answer to. Sorry, coach, you rephrase that. Do you think peptides are safe despite the lack of long-term effective research? The question's too vague. Peptide is too general of a category for us to even have that conversation. Right? Peptides is such an enormous, massive category of drugs that have completely unrelated effects in the body that the topic is too vague. Okay. Peptides is a class of drugs. It's an enormously broad class of drugs. It's not like a little narrow thing like statins. Sure, there's 20 statins, but they all have similar effects in the body, and they're a very small class. Peptides is an enormously broad class of drugs. It's so broad that we literally might reach a point where we find a peptide that causes lung cancer and another one that cures lung cancer. Do you see the problem? That's how broad of a category it is. Like one day we literally might find, hey, this peptide causes lung cancer, but we found another one that completely destroys cancer tumors in the lungs. And then you'd be trying to compare these. That's the problem. It's too massive of a category of completely unrelated drugs. Right? Walked since I've used peptides as a kid. It was all right. I got big for wrestling and it was safe. I had a friend who died taking straight tests. What? I've never heard. How do you die from taking straight tests? What do you mean? Explain. What do you mean a straight test? And how did he die from it? It's all right. He was loved. I don't think he suffered. But yeah, dude, just injected straight test. Because that's not a term. Are you talking about T&E? Are you talking about testosterone suspension? And how did he die doing it from it? Did he get an infection? I was doing epidistrone. That made me blow it fast. Right? Yeah. He had a heart attack. He had a heart attack from... No, but I mean, you're saying straight test. That's not a drug. Makes sense. And that doesn't compute either. Did he like accidentally inject an oil into his blood vessel or something and it hit the heart? So this isn't computing. Like testosterone at a young age will never cause a heart attack. Like as far as a side effect, your heart attack is 30 years later. All right. So again, I'm not really sure. The story's not really adding up. Great new video about deadlift. Show me 600 deadlifter who's small and weak. Be careful, Carol. They're going to try to show Anatoly, who is actually a high 400s deadlifter. But yeah, I mean, how many dudes we see who get thick from doing tons of deadlifts? Like just ridiculous when people pull this. It's not great for hypertrophy. Really? Then why do the studies show that it is? That's what fascinates me. People will claim to be evidence-based, but they don't have any evidence to back this, right? So if a person deleted every influencer, like let's say that the entire work of every fitness influencer, and let's say Mike Israetel disappeared from everyone's memory and from the internet right now. Let's say they just disappeared and no one had ever heard of any of them. And all you had was studies to look at. If the only source of information you had about muscle growth was from studies, just straight, like you went and found every single bit of research you could find, and that was your only source of information about training, would you conclude that the deadlift is an amazing hypertrophy or a bad hypertrophy exercise? I want people to answer that one. So let's remove all other opinions. If the only thing you had evidence to was scientific research, so let's say you're an AI robot looking through the data and you have no experience in the real world or anecdote, and you only have research, would it conclude that the deadlift, where would it rank deadlifts in terms of hypertrophy? It would conclude the deadlift is one of the best hypertrophy exercises ever invented. So how then do people claim to be science-based and not think the deadlift is good for muscle? Maybe they're just really, really, really lazy based. So walk, yeah, it's not how it works. Yeah, there's no way. That's definitely, testosterone is not going to cause a teenager to have a heart attack. He could have been taking a stimulant. That's actually happened. Because think about how do anabolics cause heart attacks? Do you know the pathway by which they do it? And how many decades does it take to create a problem, or how many years? I mean, it doesn't take decades if you use high enough drugs. Okay. It's the combination of atherosclerosis. No, you have to have the atherosclerosis too, and left ventricular hypertrophy. Okay. You realize that takes years and years. The fact that Dallas McCarver died in his late 20s is insane. So for you to take enough anabolics to die of a heart attack within 10 years is virtually unheard of. Okay. These are statistical anomalies, but he was also on 10 grams of test a week based on his blood work. Right. So the point is, sure, it is possible for someone to abuse enough drugs. It is possible to abuse enough to cause these side effects in 10 years, aka Dallas McCarver. But look how much was required. So no, you don't start using gear at a young age and have a heart attack from it a year later. It's just not how it works. So there was something else going on, you know. But I mean, Dallas McCarver is a perfect example. Yeah, it is possible to use enough drugs if you really push the absolute envelope to die in 10 years of a heart attack from it. Sure, it can be done as a young man. And Dallas McCarver is our case study on it. Right. So, Harry had a slight injury when squatting a while ago to my SI joint, hurt a pop, which isn't good. What exercise do you recommend for recovery? It's lingering. Harry, without that, I'm not comfortable giving you an answer for that in this situation. Right? Coach, if a tree falls in the woods and no one hears it, did it make a sound? Yes. The question is, does it matter that it made a sound? Well, no, if no one hears it, it's irrelevant that it made a sound. But I mean, physics are still physics. You're still going to have those sound waves. You know, unless we're going to make the argument regarding us living in a virtual reality, in which case only the things that we observe really matter. But I don't know. But in terms of physics, yes, you're still going to have the same response with the waves, right? Because that's all sound is. It's vibration. Are you still a religious man? I've never been religious. Are you asking me, am I a Christian? Yes, I'm not religious, but I am a Christian. So. All right. No. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just, I do not partake in organized religion. Not my thing. And everything died out here. We got quiet all of a sudden. What happened? Yeah, Harry, as far as helping you with your SI joint injury, especially with such limited information, I can't do that, unfortunately. And I remember watching you as a kid. I thought you nuked off YouTube. Why would you? It's always weird to me when people say that, and I'm like, I didn't go anywhere. You guys went somewhere. All right. So I never stopped making videos. Yeah, true. What do you think about the only? Everyone's laughing. Everyone who's laughing. We just had a whole diatribe about what do you think. I don't. I need you to ask a specific question, because if you ask me what I think, we're going to get into a whole conversation about quantum mechanics and holographic universes real fast. So do you have a specific question you would like to ask me regarding two sets thing? I've never heard of this. So I've never heard of this topic. Okay. So again, maybe if we have a specific question, I'll be happy to answer it in detail. But definitely asking me what I think, you're going to very quickly get spun off into left field, especially when it's something I've never heard of. Well, I'm just going to talk about something else. All right. I don't know what the two sets thing is. Yeah, JJ, the thing is, I never actually stole valor or claimed to be in the military. But, I gave a 15-minute long apology like 8 years ago and all that stuff. The fact that anybody even remembers it is crazy. It's been that long. Oh, I don't watch YouTube Fitness, Leon. That would explain why I've never heard of it. Since I don't watch YouTube Fitness, I have no idea. I don't have a frame of reference. And I don't have, this doesn't tell me anything. If you say only doing 2 sets, well, what does that actually mean? What does only doing 2 sets mean? Your whole life, like you do 2 sets of curls and you never curl again for the rest of your life. What does 2 sets mean? You should definitely do more than 2 sets. All right. Have you seen Vegan Gains? No. I don't watch YouTube Fitness. I'm going to keep reiterating that point. I'm only going to cover current events in the world. Like I've been covering social issues and lives. I don't watch fitness. I don't care. Like that whole world is dead to me. I might cover a kinobody thing because someone sent me a video with him talking about his sobriety. Sobriety is interesting to me. I'm very big on it. Right. So that's actually a worthy topic. But I could care less about the existence of fitness people because I'm 6.5 years sober. Right. When all the controversial stuff I was doing happened, I was a very heavy drinker, but from alcohol. I haven't had a drink of alcohol. My 6th year, February the 18th this year, was my 6th year point since my last drink. So I've been sober for over 6.5 years now. I was drunk on camera a lot. What do you mean? How do I feel? How does everybody feel who's sober? Way better. No, I was drunk on camera numerous times. You guys just didn't realize it. So a lot of the really controversial stuff that I paid a price for, I was drinking when I did those. And that's, again, a perfect example of, have I removed all of them? No. There's probably 50 of them still up, but I can't figure out which ones. Objectively speaking, not drinking alcohol will improve every human being on Earth's mental health. Everybody. We know the mechanisms, right? What's my problem with Keno Body? He's a fitness influencer. That's why I have a problem with it. He sells garbage nonsense and doesn't squat. Next. But why do we care? I don't care about the fitness world. What do you mean a problem? I kind of said that in one of these before. To me, the fitness world doesn't exist. They're just dead. I don't care. They don't exist in my world unless you send me something of theirs to see. I don't care anymore. I'm doing my fitness stuff, my lifting, my cardio, my running, my nutrition info, my clients is my entire fitness world. Outside of that, I'm going to do some current events. I've trained my neck on camera. I have a neck harness. You only drink. What do you mean? We all struggle with numerous issues. Are you asking me, did I ever use any recreational drugs? No. Just alcohol. Jason's doing low curves. Yeah, exactly. No. Rodney's new. Rufio asked you if you new here. I've got all those shorts with the neck training. I mean, when I do train my neck, I usually use a 55-pound plate on my neck harness. I can go 9 months or 6 months without training my neck and go right back to the same strength level in one workout. So I don't lose neck strength. Yeah, forgot about the neck. I mean, I own a neck harness, right? I haven't been doing it lately. Was alcohol the reason the reason I maintain excess weight is I have an insane appetite and binge eating related to my childhood abuse, which I've made numerous videos discussing. So how about that all ties into my childhood abuse, right? My drinking, my binge eating, it all ties into that. Yeah. Jason, have you used fat grips? They look pretty cool. Might want to buy one when I get it. Maybe I have an axle bar. So I don't really have a reason for fat grips because I have an actual axle bar. When I want to use one, I've used it a lot in the past. Yeah. Okay. So in 8 years, that was definitely when I was drinking. So yeah, Rufio, for me to figure out which videos I had been drinking in, I don't know how I would even determine that. There would be so many, right? There could be 50 or 100 of them still up. Can anybody have lower back problem? That's why he doesn't squat. Hey, Leon. No, they're not. There's no risk. No. I'm going to rephrase that. A lot of people don't recommend deadlifts because they're fucking pussies. That's the reason. Let's just cut through the nonsense. Let's cut through the nonsense. The only reason people don't do deadlifts is because they are a pussy. It is a perfectly safe exercise. I am almost 40. I'm about to turn 49. I pull elite numbers with no injuries all the time. You guys have seen me deadlift into the 600s. Even now that I'm lighter, I do rep work with 500 2 to 3 times a week. I deadlift Monday, Wednesday, Friday generally. Deadlifts are fatiguing effective. Really? What do you mean they affected the rest of the workout? Unless you're Jason Blaha. What are you talking about? Rodney, you haven't seen me pull 500 for 5 reps and just go lift heavy work afterwards and do a train for another hour? No, let's come back over to these are cop-out pussy excuses by lazy people. Let's call it what it is. It's a serious case of lazy-itis. No, you're out of shape then. Get your work capacity up, Rodney. Are you in shape, Rodney? Yeah, your work capacity is low. You need to go do some go running, man. That's why I run 3-4 times a week. I get up and do 5Ks all the time. Right? I may go do a 5K again this morning once the sun is up. I'll stream it for you guys. So, get your conditioning up. Hold on, I'm gonna go refill my coffee. I'll be right back. All right. There's a sled at my gym. There you go. I mean, that's why I finish my workouts with the sled, right? So, we do sled work at the end of the session. It works wonders. You got to get in shape, guys. You got to get in shape. You ever use a Smith machine? The Smith machine's only uses as a boat anchor, maybe for scrap metal. I think it would make a really good ship anchor. So if I had a ship, I would consider getting a Smith machine to use as an anchor. All right. I like reverse hyper. I think that's a great machine. I have one. I got the Rogue Z Hyper in my garage. Oh, Big, you've been here for 8 years. You haven't seen my garage gym then, have you? No, pop in and look. Oh, Coach Smith ain't that bad. It is that. I don't see the value in it. What is the point of it? Tell me what it brings to the table. All right. Yep. So Big Perk, I got a pretty baller home gym at this point. In my garage, my whole garage is a gym. But I mean, I'm doing okay. I mean, I'm 48. My best lifts on camera this year. I hit a 500 squat with no sleeves. Pulled 585. Some of my deadlifts down a little. I've done that. It's just a belt, chalk. I've done a 350 bench for a 2-second pause, flat back. Heels on the floor, flat back, 2-second pause. I did 350. I'm mostly doing just reps with 315 right now, though. I haven't tried to max. I don't feel like I've got a PR, so I haven't maxed out again. I used to train at Planet Fitness. I mean, I definitely got a home gym. What's good? I sometimes use it at my gym with free weight areas. I'll take it. It's good for. What do you mean ensuring basic form? How can you use good form in a Smith machine? I don't see how you can use correct form locked in on those rails. Dean says, I'm right at 155 pounds, 5'10", and sitting at intermediate numbers on the big three. Am I stronger than the normal being so light? Plans to go up 10 pounds. Yeah, go up 10 pounds over the next year. I think you're good. Well, are you stronger than normal? Not necessarily. Like Dean, so you're 155 at 5'10". Like how strong are you? You could just be really lean and have good numbers at those stats. Any ideas on how to improve interior pelvic tilt? The question is, do you need to improve it? Is it actually a problem for you? I mean, doing box squats can help a little bit. Coach, I do chins at 270 for 3, trying to get to probably take a total weight. Pretty good. No, interior pelvic tilt's not going to make you look shorter. Okay, yeah, 270 total. Pretty good, man. I guess pretty reasonable. Right. Walk there. Hold on, I gotta do the thing. I didn't think about that. I need to comment in my own Facebook from my profile. Maybe set out more. Yeah, I think since I'm not going to do many of the bike cardios, I'm going to do some longer coffee chats in the morning to make sure we get plenty of lives for you people. Is fat-free mass index calculator more accurate the leaner you are? I don't understand the question. I'm going to give one of my classic lines. Rodney, I don't understand your question. Could you please ask it a different way? I think the real question, though, with a fat-free mass index calculator is, are you accurate? If you're plugging your numbers in, do you actually know your body fat? Like, did you go get a DEXA scan? I mean, a fat-free mass index calculator is only as accurate as the numbers you plug into it. It's 100% accurate. It is perfect if you put the correct numbers in. It will spit out your exact fat-free mass index. Jason, what are you going to eat to break your fast? Probably going to be brown rice, broccoli, avocado, and maybe some of my chuck roast. I'm almost out of that, though. I'm down to just a little bit left. I've been munching on it. What do you think about the carnivore diet? Y'all trying to get me riled up. I think it is the most stupid and most dangerous, deadly, insane fad diet that the fitness world has ever come up with so far. Finally, we came up with something crazier than veganism. We finally pulled it off, right? Veganism was the craziest diet cult forever. And someone stepped up and said, you know what? We're going to out crazy your crazy. And we're going to come up with a diet that we can be just crazier than you. And we're all going to die of heart attacks in 20 years. I'm convinced the carnivore was a troll like Reddit or 4chan troll effort that turned into a real movement. Like, I'm convinced it was created by trolls just to troll vegans and to create a meme, and then people took it seriously. You know, I coach Big Perk. I've been coaching full time for 6 years. Like, I do online coaching. No, I mean, I got client blogs, testimonials up, tons of clients over time. It's a little slower in this economy, though. no. I mean, the channel is only one of my things. I'm streaming on Facebook too. My Facebook technically has more outreach than my tubes, but my lives don't get many hits there. So I'm more of a Facebooker than a tuber. Are you worried about the arsenic and all the brown rice you eat? Why should I be? We're down to the point about worrying about arsenic and brown rice. We've lost the plot. Right. So, are you worried about the arsenic and white rice? Appreciate it, peppermint. Right? Are you worried about the arsenic in your broccoli? What about Vince Caranda's steak and eggs diet? What about Vince Caranda's steak and eggs diet? No, I'm not a fan of trap bar deadlifts. So, how many people who quote the Vince Caranda's steak and egg diet actually read his work? It's not even remotely a form of carnivore. Not even close, Leon. Leon, where did you come up with that lie? Who told you that? Man, if you could resurrect Vince Caranda from the grave and to tell Vince Caranda that a bunch of people who are afraid of vegetables and fiber are citing him as a source, that man would flip his shit. All right. As someone who actually read Vince Caranda's material way back in the day, I'm just like the look on my face to associate Vince Caranda with carnivore. Man, you do know why that's a problem, right? The problem with carnivore is multifold in nature. It's twofold. How about number one, no vegetables and fiber? Like we could stop there. We don't even have to go into the LDL. We don't have to go into the high saturated fat keto diet, which look at the recent research this year. Vince Caranda was the iron guru. He actually helped get Arnold in shape once for the Olympia. So let's just start there. Like that's the end of the conversation. Promoting vegetables and fiber are bad. Like we're done. Like that's it. Now we could go into the problems of high saturated fat ketos. The keto researchers and people kind of put the nail in the coffin on that one by accident this year. They basically proved with their pro keto research that it's deadly. You can't, it'll kill you. It will give you a heart attack eventually. The pro keto funded study determined this year. Like it's bad. The data is really, really damning. But let's come over to how is that carnivore, Leon? You're telling me a man who ate 5 to 10 pounds of vegetables a day was a carnivore? Did you not read what the steak and egg diet was? I don't know because it's all out of published. I'd have to go dig up an old PDF I have with Vince's stuff in it somewhere. I don't know where you even find it. I guess I could sell copies of it. Maybe if people are that can't find it. Do you think? Yeah, I'm worried based upon that research that I may have hurt my own body from that keto in the past. Yes, based upon the current research. So you have Vince Gironda, who promoted that you needed to eat 12 different types of vegetables every day with the steak and eggs. Okay. Leon. So if you were to eat 5 to 10 pounds of vegetables, gigantic piles of vegetables, and then steak and eggs with it, which is the Vince Gironda steak and egg diet. Okay. Vince Gironda was insanely adamant that you had to have a wide variety of vegetables every single day with the steak and eggs. Like, he was adamant on that point. Okay. How is that carnivore? Leon, why would you say that? If you're going to bring up the name of Vince Gironda and you're going to mention his steak and egg diet, you can't leave out the vegetables. Because did Vince Gironda not promote the idea that you had to with it, that it was mandatory? Right? Vince Gironda said that it was mandatory to eat a wide variety of vegetables every single day with the steak and eggs. He wrote about it. Right. Did Arnold eat a lot? I have no idea. So there you go, Leon. So he clearly was not carnivore. Vince Gironda was an advocate for not just vegetables, but eating ridiculous varieties. Like, he took it to the excess. Like, that was, to me, when I think of Vince Gironda on nutrition, I think of a guy who kind of took it to the most extreme in terms of how many types of vegetables you should be eating every day. He was like a very extreme example. That's, in my mind, Vince Gironda. Like, this guy's sitting there talking about he eats 20 different, what he listed, I eat every day. I eat all the, at least some of every one. It was like 20 vegetables, like, for him personally. It's like the list is this long. So that's Vince Gironda. You know. So yeah, that's not going to fly, Leon. I remember someone posting like 500 calories a day at some point at what? Yeah. Well, people always push crazy stuff like that. Coach, might be a stupid question, but why do we call it 1 rep max when it's not a repetition? Because it's only 1 rep. I don't know. Because it's opposed to other stuff. Do you think nightshades like pepper should be included in dietary? Their immune system effect? What do you mean? What immune system effects? You've been listening to some crazy talk, the big blue part. Do you have any actual evidence that nightshade vegetables are in any way associated with negative effects on the immune system? I don't want to hear about possible mechanistic data. Peppermint laughs at that. He's a biologist. I don't care about mechanistic data. Do you have one single shred of evidence at all that humans are negatively affected by consuming nightshades? In terms of epidemiology or case studies? In real humans, in actual humans, not mechanistic, possible mechanisms. Right? So I want you to link me a large scale study showing it. But nightshades, that's not how an allergy works. You wouldn't be allergic to nightshades. You're going to be allergic to a specific substance. Right? My friend said he wants to roar in the gym during work sets. What's the best way to tell him? It's not to get it. Tell him it's just stupid. Eat potatoes and yeah, exactly. What's your opinion on standard whey protein after a workout? Bad for kidneys or liver? Why would it be? Again, do you have one single shred of evidence that whey protein post workout is bad for the kidneys or liver? Not some quack produced some piece of mechanistic data somewhere. Do you have evidence? It's a very simple yes or no question. Do we have evidence? Well, I know this one bodybuilder who ate 200 milligrams of Winstrol every day, who had some liver issues, who drank whey protein. Right? Coach, do you ever get annoyed at another lifter asking how you're doing before a heavy set if it throws me from my intensity? No, I wouldn't notice them. I wouldn't hear it. So if I'm about to do a heavy set and you were to say something to me, I probably wouldn't hear you. I wouldn't even notice you. Short of a woman dropping her panties and bending over, I probably wouldn't notice anything going on around me before a heavy work set. It would take that level of extreme for me to even notice another human being. You'd have to go that far, literally. I wouldn't even hear you, dude. I wouldn't even know you're there. It sounds to me like you're not focused, Rodney. Barefoot run today. I'm thinking I might go knock one out this morning and then not do the bike at all. So we might get a run in. For those who don't chime in, yes, I run barefoot and I vlog it. I'm a barefoot runner. I get out on the Texas asphalt even in the summer. And we go for them runs without shoes. Need to be really focused. Yeah, dude. Heavy set, you need to be in your place of zen. And it's a calm, like you guys know, I'm super chill. You get in, you focus, you lift the weight. Everything goes black around you. Right? You gotta work on your focus a little bit, Rodney. You gotta learn to block it all out. In that moment there is only you and the barbell. Okay? It is you and the barbell, nothing else exists. Think of I'm super chill, dude. So even look at that 635 pull. Look how calm I am. Like if you go to my home screen here, that 635, it's just chill, dude. There's no yelling. There's no psyching up. We just walk over, breathe, and pull. You know? Right? Talking while someone's approaching a heavy lift is like talking to someone who golfs. Yeah, you don't do that. You see they're about to do it. Yeah, it's different for psyching yourself. It's a tunnel vision, right? It's just focus. Your focus. You drown all the noise out. All right. So for me, that's my mindset. I go to lift a heavy lift. I think about my cues. What am I doing? I'm about to go bench. I think in terms of my setup. Think in terms of where I'm going to grip the bar, remembering to get the bar where I want to, get it set down in the palm, stack the wrists, squeeze, lock it in. Right. It's all about you think through your mental cues, and it's just you and the bar. Everything else disappears. You don't see or hear anything. You just drown it out. You focus. Right. Yeah. Is it that dramatic just lift the weight up and down? Yeah. Yeah, it does take focus, Will. I mean, you haven't hit real big lifts yet then. How high? Very high. I get about 9 hours a night, personally. I take the opposite approach and get aggressive. I say I'm sick of this shit. I would be doing double before I go to war. We ain't going to war, man. It's just lifting weights, brother. Think in terms of the psychological arousal and recovery, though. Matt Perryman was doing his doctoral work in that, actually, of that psychological arousal reduces recovery. So it takes longer to recover from the exact same workload if you're psyched up. So let's say whatever you deadlift 500 for 5. If you're psyched up, the nervous system and hormonal response makes it take longer for your body to recover from it, particularly like the hormonal aspect and the cortisol aspect. Yep, that sun's coming up. So I train super calm, but again, I deadlift 3 days a week. So how do you guys think that I do that? You know, I'm blasting no gear. I'm 48 years old. I deadlift heavy 3 days a week. And we do it day after day. You know, the stuff you got to think in terms of all these things, you know, if you're trying to optimize stuff. And that's one of the things too. I had someone else, I saw them note that, even guys like O'Hearn. No, I'm on a replacement dose of test. I'm on literal TRT. Right. Like I'm not on YouTube TRT. We're not on 300 milligrams plus a little deca. You know, no, I'm literally on a replacement dose. Yeah. I'm on test set. I'm on like a prescription test set. Yeah. So specifically, I'm on the test set. Yeah, it was. Sun is coming up. Right. Most of my size be in my legs, though, guys. Right. I don't know what O'Hearn's on, dude. Who all could speculate? Probably a little test, a little growth at this point. But O'Hearn trains real calm too. Notice that all your older guys who aren't just beat the hell up, it's all calm lifting on the heavy stuff. It's just real chill. He's a very calm lifter too. I'm a very calm lifter. Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Mike O'Hearn's natural. What do you mean what's he on, right? He tells you he's natural all the time. Like it says it all his social media, natural. That's how you know he's natural. Unless it's the duck eggs, man. That's what it is. I mean, you'll know if someone's natural because they'll tell you. It's like a vegan, right? It's like you don't have to guess if someone's a vegan. They'll tell you. So a natural bodybuilder, they'll tell you they're natural. You'll know already, right? If someone is truly a natural bodybuilder, you'll know the second you look at any of their social media, their Facebook, their Instagram, right? The word natural will be written everywhere. Alex Meyer, one of my favorite natties, man. you know. Mike is one of the greatest con in the fitness community. Funny thing, man. I mean, he has conned so many cons, and it's like he gets away with it. It's just, it shocks me. I joked with that before. I'm like, man, if people judged O'Hearn by the same standard they judge me, whew, yeah, it's because he looks good. It's because the dude has such a great physique still. He gets away with stuff, man. That's why Rufio, because he's no one looks like he does at that age, so he gets a free pass. What do you mean the black pill is real? Limitless, if you're a black pill, I'm going to probably need to ban you. I kind of have a rule that I don't associate with anyone who's black pill. Like, you have to cut. I've actually made this statement. You have to cut them out of your life. Anyone who's part of any of the black pill stuff, you have to block them and cut them out of your life. You can't have them as friends. They'll destroy your life. So I literally, every real life person I know who's black pill, I've blocked them on my phone. I block them on my social media. You got to get rid of them. Like, or you're just going to kill yourself eventually. They're going to off themselves eventually anyways, everyone in that movement. Like, you just can't buy into that nonsense. Like, they'll eventually sort themselves out, you know, but unfortunately, yeah, no, dude, you black pill is like, don't even go look it up. So the person says, what's that? Yeah, don't go down the rabbit hole. The most depressing people you will ever meet. Right? Yeah. It's a modern day form of nihilist philosophy. Yeah. But everything is pilled now. Everyone's got to use a pill. We're red pilled. We're blue pilled. We're pink pilled. We're black pilled. You know? Yeah. Well, Limitless lives in, or do you say you live in Indonesia? I think he's a regular in these. Do you think there was a second shooter in the Kirk? I've seen no evidence that there is, man. Look, I had one of my clients in a call gave me his own conspiracy theories, and we chatted about it. I, for now, am running with. I think my official stance is, unless I see reason to think otherwise, I think it was the crazy guy with the trans boyfriend and all that. I mean, I'm not saying there's no possibility there was not some conspiracy, but I'm going with that for now. You know, I mean, well, that wasn't a crazy impressive shot. I mean, it's lower than my skill level. What I've demonstrated previously on camera, it's at a lower skill level than what you guys have seen me do in the past. So it's not a crazy shot or anything. I mean, it was well over one MOA. It wasn't be a difficult shot for a basic marksman. Yeah, he was intended to. Yep, exactly, big. He did not understand. So he wasn't even a marksman. He didn't understand elevation. Right? What do you mean imagine the stress? Still, your basic skills don't go away under stress. Yeah. So he didn't, and Big is right. He did not adjust for the elevation. No, it didn't inspire. Inspired, he did not have a plate on. If he had anything, it was 3A Kevlar. Did you see a plate under his t-shirt? Did you see a plate carrier? No. Now you're sounding, to me, you sound crazy. If you're going to tell me that 30-06 deflected off of 3A Kevlar, then you're insane or you're a moron. There's only two possibilities. Okay. I'm just going to call you flat out, dude. I'm just going to be mean. If you think soft armor would deflect 30, you're a moron who does not understand physics or basic ballistics or anything about armor. And I'm just going to call it like it is. That's the stupidest theory I've ever heard. Like, that is dumb. Dumb. No, he was hit in the neck. It was a direct hit. What was I going to say? I appreciate that. It's funny because they're so small in the mornings, right? Once I'm carved up and I do the afternoon ones, my arms almost look like 2 inches bigger, and I get that big vein. Like, go look at the afternoon ones. I have the pinky-sized vein running all the way up. They're so small in the mornings. I'm still fasted there. Why would there be fragmentation off of Kevlar? You explain to me why there would be fragmentation or spalling. The term is called spall. Okay. Not fragmentation is what happens when bullets fragment, but if you're talking deflected fragments, they're called spall. That is the correct term. So spalling off of the armor. So, no, you're not going to get an apology because he didn't have a level 4 plate on. You can tell there was no plate. So, all right. Yeah, I didn't hit it. Did you see a plate? He was wearing a white t-shirt there, guys. Okay. If he had on a plate carrier with a plate, you would have seen it. So he had at best 3A Kevlar. It would not deflect. It would punch it. Because that armor type doesn't work off deflection. It works on embedding. So do you understand how it stops pistol rounds? As they spin, they get caught in the strands inside and they embed. They don't work off deflection. Right? Yeah. Right. So it's not, you're not going to deflect. There's not going to be any fragments. There's not going to be spalling. Yeah, I wish they would have checked the roofs, but they didn't. Yeah, it was just poor security. You know, poor security. Unfortunately. And we're going to see how this changes. This is going to be massive in terms of the way it affects politics, everything. Well, no, I think he shouldn't generally be comfortable. If the shooter was a lifter, he might not have fallen into this radical brainwashing, right? Absolutely. I mean, that's kind of what's happening there to some extent, isn't it? There's definitely been people who've been horrified by the response on the left who were left leaning. They're just like, man, my son wouldn't have been in that situation to begin with. Let's see. Do you think Ben Shapiro will do less public debates now? I don't think so. Yeah. So inspired, are you going to come back when it turns out that I'm right and that your theory is silly, or are you going to apologize? That's the real question. I already know I'm right on this one. There's no doubt in my mind. I've seen what he was wearing. I've seen the footage. I know what he was hit with. I am certain of my position on that one. I don't even see what you're proposing as being within the realm of possibility. So my question is, how much do you know about ballistics personally? Like, would you consider yourself a subject matter expert on ballistics and firearms? Like, how much do you know? Like, how many hundreds or thousands of hours do you have invested in the topic? How many things have you personally shot with rifles, whether animals, objects, and things just out for fun in your life? So also would be my next thing. Like, how much practical experience do you have in this area? How much do you know about armor? Right. Coach, he doesn't know that you made FBI ballistics. It did. I made $3,000 off that video, and it got enormous positive comments. Okay. Right. So I'm going to ask you again a very simple question, inspired, because I'm positive in my position on this. Like, I'm positive beyond a reasonable doubt. Because this is not an area I don't have knowledge of. Like, this isn't like Dunning-Kruger. This is something I actually know about. We might as well be talking about deadlift mechanics, right? Oh, are you asking me, have I seen testing on 3 Kevlar with different bullets? Like, are you asking me, do I have knowledge of how they work? And have I seen actual testing? Yes. Right? I actually do have a decent amount of knowledge of how different vests work, how they're rated, what they'll stop, why they stop certain things, how they do it, the mechanisms by which they do it. Yeah, I do actually know quite a bit about this one. Do I personally own armor? Do I know what my armor is rated to stop? Do I know what it will and won't stop? Yes. All right. No, I don't think he was intentionally hit in the neck. I think it was miscalculation due to not understanding elevation. All right. Yeah, inspired to eat your broccoli, mate. I drink coffee black. I don't eat calories before noon, so it's just black coffee. It's such a silly conspiracy to go to bat, right? It really is. You know. Well, if you fall into that done on purpose, then you fall into the other conspiracies that the whole thing was a message and it wasn't the lone wolf shooter. We go down a pretty deep rabbit hole at that point. Coach, I want to thank you for the advice you gave me with the hand holding. It's going well. So, Limitless, by the way, is taking a girl out on a date. This is a guy who was coming in, couldn't meet women and all this stuff 6 months ago in these streams. He's now been going on a date, holding this girl's hand. There we go. He's making progress. You know, he's making progress. Like I told you, man, just be confident, be yourself. It works. That's a bet. Like if you're trying to meet a girl that you want a relationship with, be yourself. That's literally the best thing you can do, is to just be yourself. Right? The best way to meet someone who's a good match for you. All right. What do you think about the weird ass text message? I don't know what to think of that one, Perk. I have no idea. I did see that, and I don't know. I don't know what to make, if that's real or what the heck's going on. To be honest, I do know what you're talking about with that string of texts. I've heard people say there's different problems with it. I don't necessarily see the problems with it that people are pointing out. They're like, well, this is not how this generation or Gen Z communicates. And so I don't know. I don't know enough about that to understand. But I also think the guy was weird and crazy. I stemmed so hard around my wife and she cured also some of your symptoms. Yeah. Well, she didn't cure it. She cured some of the symptoms, the styming and stuff. Coach, have you ever had any genuine insults hit you up for advice? And no. I've had one who really hit me up for advice and it went back. No, because you can't help some people. I had one who admitted to being one of my haters, apologized, long apology, stepped away from all of it. Then he did ask me girl advice, and I gave him advice, and he the way that he took it didn't work. And I was just like, there's a point where you realize sometimes it's a lost cause, you know? Right. In short, he had a good plan to do something social, to meet girls, to get involved in a certain hobby. And instead, he decided the hobby he was going to do with that, which would have let him meet so many girls, he changed it to an incel hobby and tried to do that instead. But at that same time, for a social activity, he found. So, what hobby was it? He had been recommended that from the neighborhood, these older women, hey, will you come join our gardening club? Like a lot of our nieces and granddaughters and stuff. And so he was going to go do this gardening club and go do gardening, which would have been like 60% women. And then some of the older women would have probably then introduced him to their other stuff, right? He was going to do it. And I said, this is great. And I broke down why. He changed his mind and instead joined a longsword fighting club. Because that's how you get pussy. Keep in mind, this is a guy who's never been on a date, never kissed a girl. He was jacked, he lifted. And so I gave him this advice and I'm like, no, that's a horrible idea. Okay, but walk. Let's say that your goal was to get a social activity to meet your first girlfriend. Okay. If that was the intended goal, you needed a social life because you didn't have friends or a social life. And you've never been on a date. What are the odds that you're going to find a date at the longsword fighting club with a woman? What are we calculating the odds at here? You're going to be longsword fighting with 15 incels. Like he had an in, he was good to go. It's just like, dude, there you go. There's your chance. You're going to be this nice guy because he had a good job. He was fit, but he had no experience. But that was his in, because then it would be even I don't think about Athlete X at all. I don't know who that is. I don't care about the fitness world at all. Right? You can bring a horse, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. It's an old saying down here. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I don't know that I have advice on the first date. I guess it would depend on what the date is and what advice they needed. I don't know. Yeah, man. You can only do so much. Man, Limitless, you need to drop a super. I got you your first hand holding. All right. What's your daily? Probably about 3,800 right now. My maintenance. I sit at 209 to 210 right now. So that's pretty much maintenance calories for me. I don't track it super close. It's ballpark. What about, I wouldn't necessarily do BJJ. Not to meet women. Okay. If you want to have a social activity to meet women, it needs to be an environment that's 50% women or higher. So if you go into the BJJ place and it's 70% men, this is a bad hobby for beating women. Okay. Like if that's what you're trying to do, you're trying to improve your social circle to beat women, this is not viable. Like a wine painting. There you go. Is it unjust doing a hobby? I mean, not necessarily, but you can find a hobby you enjoy. But Rodney, so here's the point. You're talking about people with no social life. You're talking about incels. Okay. You're talking about people who have no social life. They have no social circle. Yes, they need to have a hobby where they can meet women. They could go to join a church. They could go pick up a hobby. But if they have no social life, they need to get involved in something social where women will be there. They need to. Because keep in mind, a lot of these younger guys, they're like, I've never been on a date. They're like 23. Dudes 23 have never kissed a girl or been on a date. Yeah, they need to go have a social life. And it needs to be to help meet women because they have no women in their social circle. Like this is a problem. They have no experience. They need to learn how to be comfortable around women. And even if they're not getting a date out of it, what does it teach them? It teaches them to be comfortable in a social environment with women because they don't have that. Right. They have to crawl. So if they're at that point in life, they're 23 years old and the dude has never been on a date. He does not know how to even socialize with women, clearly. So they have to get into that environment. It is totally self-inflicted. I agree, Rufio. But it is self-inflicted. if your entire life you made the conscious choice to have hobbies to where you're not going to meet women, that is self-inflicted. Well, if you struggle from mental illness, then that's its own set of problems. So if you're struggling with a severe mental illness, do you really think you need to be in a relationship? So, think about that. All right. But no, I agree. It is self-inflicted. But I mean, that's the perfect example. A person's only hobbies have been video games and anime. Well, you chose to not get laid. You chose to not meet girls. Right? Yeah, exactly. And that's the point. They put themselves in the situation. They literally chose a lifestyle amongst lifestyle. Like if you decide that the most important hobby to you is watching anime or playing video games, you made that choice. Like you said, I want to live the life of a monk. I'm going to find a hobby that isolates me from women, is what they essentially said. Well, you chose that as a lifestyle. And I get it. There's a whole internet thing, but there's a bunch of girls who like anime. They're a tiny minority. So that's people need to understand that. Look at surveys. Most women find men who watch anime unattractive. That is what surveys show. 80 to 90% of women in surveys looked at it and said that they find men who watch anime that it's unsexy. Doesn't matter, but there's these women over here. She dresses in the anime stuff, but it's like there's 20 dudes fighting for her. You're competing for every one of those girls with 20 to 50 other dudes. You better be bringing something special to the table. And then the only women you're having access to are the anime obsessed ones. So what happens when you're no longer obsessed with anime? Well, that relationship's dead. And that's kind of the point. If you choose hobbies that isolate you from women, you chose to be a monk. To you, Naruto was more important than the pink taco. And Naruto's your lover, that's your wife. You've chosen a life of chastity due to your reverence for Naruto, who's your god now, I guess. I don't know. Right. You got to have some pink taco, right? So, there you go. You start lifting and you socialize. There you go. And it's that simple. It's like the guys who name themselves after anime characters, right? So, you might want to have some other hobbies. I've never been on it. I don't know how dating apps work. My understanding is that dating apps are sausage fest. Yeah. All right. That's my understanding, that basically the dating apps are where you're getting the last, that it outnumbers, the men outnumber the women, and you're getting the cast aside women who could, you kind of get in the bottom of the bucket. So, I don't know enough about dating apps to really give you advice beyond that. It's just not my thing. I've never really done it. Salmon is going to be healthier than tilapia. Yeah. Yeah. Right. All right, guys. We're an hour 40 deep. I'm gonna go ahead and wind this down. I think that's good. Let me shut down the Facebook. Appreciate this one. You're welcome, review. All right. Take care, guys. I'll do another live this afternoon. We'll do a big one.